turn into a girl to escape the trouble I made. My name's Max, and I'm 19 years old. Growing up, I was the kind of guy who liked to blend into the background. I never sought attention, never craved the spotlight. I had a small circle of friends, and I kept to myself, mostly. That is, until a stupid bet changed everything. It wasn't even about anything serious, just a casual dare to crossdress for a week. But when the bet took a twist, it didn't stay fun or harmless. What started as a simple challenge quickly escalated into something I wasn't prepared for. My friends, including Jared, who loved to push my limits, weren't satisfied with just seeing me in a dress. They wanted more. They wanted me to become a girl for real. They laid out their terms. If I backed out, I'd face the consequences, humiliation, ridicule, and a loss of respect that could follow me for the rest of my college years. The stakes were high. I couldn't afford to back down. I never thought I'd find myself in this position. Sure, I had my quirks, but dressing up as a girl? That was uncharted territory. It wasn't just about clothes. It was about my identity, my reputation, and the lines I had to walk between who I was and who I was being forced to become. This challenge wasn't just an obstacle, it felt like a decision that could define who I was going to be from here on out. Was I ready to risk everything to escape the mess I had made? Or was I about to make an irreversible mistake? At first, it all felt like a joke, just a harmless dare, a bit of fun. I had always been the type to go along with whatever the group was doing, never really questioning it. But as they laid out the conditions, my stomach dropped. They weren't just asking me to throw on a dress. No, Jared wanted me to commit, to transform. Makeup, the whole works. I was going to have to step into this new persona and embrace it, or else risk losing all the respect I had built for myself. It felt absurd. How could this be happening? I immediately thought about backing out. I could just tell them I wasn't up for it, but something in the pit of my stomach told me that wouldn't be enough. The teasing would start, the whispers behind my back. I couldn't let them win. I couldn't back down now. But as the reality of the challenge set in, I found myself frozen. The thought of dressing like a girl, really dressing like a girl, made my heart race, but not in the fun, excited way. It was more of a deep anxiety, like I was about to make a choice that would change everything. I could feel the pressure of it all, the expectations of my friends, the weight of their stares, their expectations. Would they even respect me after? Or would they just see me as a joke? On the other hand, a part of me couldn't help but wonder what it would be like. The idea of transforming, of completely shedding who I was, if only for a while, was oddly tempting. A chance to escape, to see a different side of myself. I had always been a little curious about what it would be like to dress differently, but I'd always kept that curiosity buried, afraid of how others might react. But now I was being forced into it, and the question wasn't about curiosity anymore. It was about survival. The fear was real, but so was the strange flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, I could find something within myself in this transformation. But was it worth it? Could I really do this? I spent the next few days thinking about nothing else. I couldn't shake the pressure of it, the constant hum in my chest, my thoughts bouncing between panic and curiosity. I kept replaying Jared's words in my mind. Just one weekend, man, and you'll be a legend, and I couldn't decide if that made the challenge sound enticing or terrifying. I wasn't sure what was worse, letting everyone down, or facing whatever was waiting for me if I actually went through with it. I needed to talk to someone, but who could I even tell? My closest friends had all been in on this joke from the beginning. Jared, Nate, and Chris, they all seemed so confident, as if they'd already made their peace with the whole thing. They were used to daring each other to do insane things. But I wasn't like them. I didn't want to push my boundaries, just for the sake of a thrill. My brother, Alex, was the closest person I could talk to, but he'd always been the cool one, and I couldn't picture him getting what I was going through. Still, I called him, my fingers trembling slightly as I dialed. "Yo, what's up?" Alex answered casually. "Hey, can I talk to you about something?" "Sure, man. What's going on?" I hesitated. "So, there's this challenge. My friends want me to, dress as a girl. For a weekend. And, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do about it. I mean, I could back out, but I'd lose a lot of respect if I did. I don't know if I'm ready for this." Alex was quiet for a moment, and I could almost hear him thinking. You've always been kind of the do whatever it takes to win guy, you know? I swallowed hard, the weight of his words landing on me. Yeah, but this is different. This feels bigger. I don't know if I can handle it. And I'm scared. I don't even know why I'm scared, but it's like I'm being asked to be someone I'm not, and I don't know if I can pull it off. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Alex said softly. But if you do go through with it, just make sure it's for you, not for them. I took a deep breath. Was this just a silly dare, or was it something that could change me in ways I wasn't ready to face? That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I couldn't help but imagine how ridiculous I would look, how weird it would feel to walk into a room and know everyone was watching me. But then, what if I looked good? What if this was my chance to explore a side of myself I never allowed? What if, for once, I didn't need to be me? What if that was the whole point? The next morning, I woke up with a strange sense of clarity, or maybe just dread. But the reality hit. I had already told them I'd do it. I was too far and too deep, and now there was no going back. My heart raced, my stomach churned, and I couldn't ignore the nervous excitement building in me. The transformation was about to begin, and there was no turning away from it. But as I looked at myself in the mirror, the question still lingered. Who would I become in the process? The day had arrived. It was all set, the dare was official, and I had no way out. My friends, practically buzzing with excitement, were already on their way to pick me up, laughing and joking like it was just another casual weekend activity. But for me, it felt like a prison sentence. I hadn't realized just how big this challenge would feel until I was standing in my room, staring at my closet, a mess of clothes I never thought I'd wear, dresses, heels, makeup. The weight of the choice sat heavy on my chest, making it harder to breathe. I couldn't back out. Not now. Not after all the taunting, the teasing, the expectation. If I didn't show up as promised, I'd lose whatever shred of respect I had left in this group. Jared would never let me live it down. I could already picture the endless mocking, the way everyone would treat me like I wasn't one of them anymore. I wasn't sure if I could bear that. Could I? But there was something else eating at me too, a strange, almost overwhelming pull. The idea that maybe, just maybe, this could be a chance to shed a part of myself I didn't even know I was carrying. Could I explore a new side of me? Could this be more than a silly dare? What would it feel like to not be me, to be someone entirely different? I could hear the sound of my phone vibrating in the other room. Jared was probably asking if I was ready. Was I? The thought of going through with it still made my stomach twist, but I knew I had made my choice. The consequences were real. Embarrassment, confusion, but maybe even something more profound. This wasn't just about completing a dare anymore. It was about defining who I was going to be, if only for this weekend. The transformation began as soon as I stepped into the salon. It was like crossing a threshold into a world that felt both foreign and oddly familiar. The smell of shampoo, hairspray, and the faint, sterile scent of bleach filled the air, and I felt my heart race. My fingers, nervously twitching at my sides, brushed over the smooth fabric of the dress I was now wearing. It felt strange, almost alien to my body, yet oddly comforting as I adjusted the hem and forced myself to stand a little taller. The makeup artist, a woman with deep brown eyes and a quiet, confident air about her, looked at me with an almost unreadable expression. She didn't ask questions, just began her work. I sat down in the chair, feeling the brush strokes against my face. The coolness of foundation blending into my skin made me shiver, and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. The reflection staring back at me was unfamiliar, a stranger in my own skin. Her eyes, wide and unknowing, looked back at me with a mix of confusion and curiosity. I wanted to pull away, to stop everything. But there was a voice, small and faint, whispering inside me to just keep going. The makeup artist continued, layering on blush, eyeshadow, mascara. With each brush stroke, I felt the sharp edge of my old self dull a little more. The more she worked, the more this new version of me seemed to come to life. My reflection started to shift, the lines of my jaw softening, my eyes opening wider. I was slowly becoming someone else. But who? Then came the hair. The stylist took my damp strands and worked his magic, curling them into soft waves that framed my face. I could feel the heat of the curling iron close to my scalp, a strange sensation of warmth and vulnerability washing over me. When I caught a glimpse of myself again, my breath caught in my throat. I barely recognized the person staring back. I touched my lips, a strange sensation of softness against my fingers. How did it feel to be this version of myself? There was a tension in my chest, a mix of anxiety and something else. Something freeing. As the final touches were applied, a light spritz of perfume, a few sprinkles of glitter across my eyelids, I stood up, and the heels I'd been dreading to wear were placed on my feet. They felt like a part of me I didn't want but somehow needed. With every step, the unfamiliar clicking sound echoed in my ears. It was like I wasn't walking as myself, but as someone else entirely. I looked at myself again. The girl in the mirror was confident, graceful, and put together. Everything I never imagined I could be. I could feel the weight of her persona pressing into my chest, suffocating me for a moment before releasing its hold. But the deeper I looked, the more I started to see cracks in the mirror. It wasn't just the dress or the makeup, it was me. I wasn't just playing dress up. There was something about this version of me that felt right. This strange woman in the mirror wasn't so unfamiliar. She was me, just a version I hadn't allowed myself to be. "Are you ready?" The stylist's voice brought me back to reality. I swallowed hard, standing up straighter, my heart pounding. I guess so. But inside, I wasn't so sure. Who was I now? Was this just a costume for the weekend? Or was I truly starting to become someone I hadn't expected? The night had arrived. I stood at the entrance of the party, the familiar pulse of music vibrating through the floor, but nothing felt familiar. The world around me seemed so loud, so chaotic, yet I was drowning in silence. My heart raced in my chest as I hesitated. The crowd inside swirled with energy, people laughing, chatting, dancing. Everyone was caught in their own world, yet the moment I stepped inside, all eyes would be on me, or worse, they wouldn't be. I had transformed, yes, but would anyone notice? Or worse, would they see through the illusion? I glanced at my reflection one last time in the glass door. The girl I had become in the mirror looked like she belonged in this world, elegant, poised, unafraid. But inside, I was anything but. My breath hitched as I adjusted the dress one more time, trying to center myself. Every step felt like it took me further from the boy I was, further from who I thought I was meant to be. And then I heard it, the sharp intake of breath. A whisper. "Is that really you?" The voice came from behind me, tentative but familiar. I turned, and there she stood, Emma, my best friend since childhood, staring at me as though she was seeing a ghost. Her eyes widened in disbelief, her jaw hanging open. "You look incredible," she finally said, but there was a flicker of confusion in her voice. "But why? Why all of this?" The question hit me like a ton of bricks. Why had I done this? Why had I let this happen? The entire reason I was here, dressed as someone else, pretending to be something I wasn't, came flooding back. It was a bet, a challenge, a way to escape the mess I'd made of my life. But standing there, in front of Emma, the reality of what I'd done sank in like a heavy weight. I don't know, I stammered. I just needed a way out. A way to fix everything I've messed up. To escape the pressure, the mistakes. My voice trembled, and for the first time, I realized I wasn't just escaping the trouble I'd caused. I was running from who I really was. Emma's expression softened, the initial shock replaced by concern. "But this isn't you, is it? This is just a way to avoid everything. It's not real." The words cut deeper than I expected. Because she was right. The person I was in that moment wasn't real. I wasn't this woman, this image I had put together. But then who was I? What had I become? The panic that gripped me in that instant was unlike anything I had ever felt before. The music around me felt louder now, oppressive. The lights seemed brighter, the weight of the world heavier. And in the midst of it all, I had to face the truth. I couldn't escape anymore. Not from the people I had hurt, not from the mistakes, and certainly not from myself. "I need to go," I whispered, my voice barely audible. But Emma's hand on my arm stopped me before I could turn away. "Maybe you don't need to run anymore," she said softly. "Maybe you just need to figure out who you really are, not who you think you're supposed to be." Her words hit me like a revelation, the fog lifting just enough for me to see the path ahead. Maybe this wasn't just about running away, it was about finding the courage to be real again. As the weeks passed, I couldn't escape the thoughts that haunted me, the image of myself in that dress, the confusion in Emma's eyes, the weight of the decisions I had made. But something had shifted. The mask I'd worn, the perfect facade I had created, began to crumble. It wasn't about pretending to be someone else anymore. It was about understanding who I was beneath all the layers. I had learned that running away wasn't the answer. I had tried to escape my mistakes, my fears, my confusion, but all it did was push me further from the truth. As much as I had wanted to find freedom in becoming someone else, I realized that true freedom came from embracing who I was, mistakes and all. The power wasn't in the transformation itself, but in my ability to accept the transformation as part of my journey. Emma's words echoed in my mind long after that night. Maybe you just need to figure out who you really are. Slowly, I began to do just that. I reached out to the people I had distanced myself from, repair the relationships I had broken. I started to confront the person I had been running from, the one who felt lost, unsure, and vulnerable. And with that came a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. The party, the transformation, and the chaos had all been a catalyst, a moment of clarity. I didn't need to have everything figured out right now. But I knew one thing for sure. I was finally ready to stop pretending. The journey wasn't over, but for the first time in my life, I felt like I was on the right path. And maybe, just maybe, the girl I had become was a part of me after all. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and found the content valuable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all our latest content and be part of our growing community. We appreciate your support, and we can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned and take care.